Hey everyone, it's Book of Catherine. I hope this video finds you well. So if you guys have been paying attention at all to my Twitter feed or my new Twitter feed, which is at Prophet's Journal, where I continue the work that I did for my book, which I posted like the first 8 chapters of recently on bookofcatherine.com, you know that I have predicted certain events coming over the last 4 years, not on purpose, of course. It's always been shocking to see them come around. But because of that, because I've been right about so many things, I feel like I really need to talk to you about what I feel like is overwhelming evidence for a solar, either micronova or a super flare, like what happened in the 1850s, right around when I said the dragon was released again after the millennium of Christ, and I said that it came in the form, the new Antichrist, the mirror version of the first chapters of Revelations, reappeared in the form of Prince Albert, who married Queen Victoria in the 1840s. And that's right around the time that our magnetic shield started going down. And if you haven't been following my feeds, that probably all sounds like lots of big words about who knows what. So, but the long and the short of it is that today, September 21st, 2021, there has been mountains of evidence pointing to today as the day of a major event. Maybe it's not going to be a solar event, though I think it is. Everything's pointing towards that. It may be the La Palma volcano creating a tsunami. But I think that there will be a solar event today. Everything's pointing towards that, and that will take 3 days to reach us, which means it will strike on the 6th of the 7th month on the biblical calendar. For us, that's 21st, 22nd, 23rd. I think that's the 23rd or the 24th, Friday, 24th of September this year. So what does that mean? Well, I'm not the only one that's predicting that sort of thing. There's a whole bunch of celebrities, not even ones I know, that are building bunkers and going deep down. I'm sure you've heard about it on shows like Billions. But it turns out there's a new huge community of scientists that are predicting this exact same things. There's been evidence mounting for 150 years that it would be arriving. It's just all the data sheets are pointing towards today as far as the holy numbers that we've seen since the very beginning of this year. So that's what led me to make my last video. There's a little mistake I made with the last video. That's why I said in that video, I was like, I'm not sure if it's going to be this March. It could be. I don't know. And that's not how I feel about today. It's not, I could be, I'm not sure. It's not like that at all. I mean, I said this yesterday, and this morning Etna went off. Mount Etna went off. The 3,330 meter, 333 meter went off and exploded to 9,000 meters high on the morning of the 21st after being dormant for 20 days, which means after 20 days on the 21st day, it erupted again. And anyway, so let me show you what I did incorrectly on the reason why I predicted it last March when I was like, there's only a few days left if it's true. The reason I got that wrong is I was right. It was 2021. The 140th Jubilee anniversary was 2021. The problem is that I wasn't used to using the Biblia, I didn't know about the Enoch calendar, and I was trying to go by Israel's calendar. It's the best that I had. It turns out Israel's completely off. They follow the moon from Babylonian times, from Hillel the Elder, who is from Babylon, who completely redid Judaism, created the Talmud, created the Torah, created the Mishnah, and all sorts of things that talks about, like, you should read that sometime and find out what Judaism actually practices versus what their holy prophets actually say, which, just as a reminder, Jesus constantly said, the holy prophets, the holy prophets. And there was a reason for that. They kept saying the holy prophets because that's not what was being taught anymore. The Rabbi Hillel had come out and created even the word rabbi, which you won't find when you look up the times of Moses. Anyway, here's where I made my mistake because I wasn't used to it. This is the new year, right? On March 20th. It turns out it's the spring equinox. And so it was January when I was doing this video, or February or March, and it hadn't hit the spring equinox. This is the new year according to the Bible's calendar. And not only that, but we know that in that March and April is when Exodus happened. So it turned out the 140th Jubilee, the anniversary of Exodus, happened here in April. And so that was well beyond the March date. And I didn't know that. I didn't know. And so I didn't say, oh, we hit the, I was just like, we're in the year 2021. It's 140 Jubilees. And it was, but at Exodus, there was 140 Jubilees when Exodus arrived, which was right after March 20th. And so we weren't into the next new year, and I didn't know any of that. So technically, the 140th Jubilee started in March and goes till next March. However, the reason that I say that today is the day that I think a solar flare to micronova will occur is because all of these charts have appeared, from earthquakes, from lava flows all over the world, from storms, this middle point pointing to middle of the number 12, and then always involved in it is the 21, the number 21 and 12, 2020, and then a 7.0 earthquake. So the 7 and 21 and constantly mixing around. And they started really happening in patterns in January. It used to be monthly, and then as it came closer to today, September 21st, it just started ramping up crazy. And there's been like 3 or 4 middles that I've been able to count in just the last week, counting down to today. And so for information on what a micronova is and how to be safe and where to go, I still say that you should follow what I said on how to prepare. Turns out I posted that on March 20th, the Lord's New Year Day. Didn't even know that. Had no idea when I did it. I found out like a month ago that I did that. And I was like, why did I post on March 20th? So this is what I mean. If I accidentally keep on posting accordingly to these Bible dates, then, and I keep getting these predictions correct with explosions and things like that, when I'm sure of it, and I've never been as sure as I am now, then I thought I should share this with you. So there's another site that you can go to of the people who are predicting it. And this is Space Observers. They have a website, spaceobservers.com. You can go to Space Observers, and then the O is a 0. It's not an actual O. If you go to Space Observers with the O as a 0, on YouTube, you can read a lot about micronova and all the science that goes on behind it. You can even find out when the reason we don't know about it is because of scientists that cropped up in the late 1850s, saying, and they're Roman Catholic and all these sorts of things that go along with the Queen and Prince Albert. So it's very interesting to see how one of the first things that the dragon seems to have done when he was released is start planting false science about our sun and our solar system. Because the science, in my opinion, is very, very simple. Like it's very easy to see how our sun's atmosphere, which is called the heliosphere, interacts with the rest of the universe. And just all of it comes together into a major solar event. And you will even see today, after I predicted it would happen today, Space Observers came out, who I don't know. I just found them like a week ago. Space Observers came out with a video this morning saying that they are expecting a flare. They're actually jittery about it, which they're not jittery about anything, but they've been preparing for a solar event. So go down deep, find your way down deep, or I don't think going up to space is going to help anyone, though that's one of the solutions that you've been seeing a lot of people go into space and space colonies. A lot of the more wealthy people have been preparing for this. So, but my number one recommendation, yes, obviously run. Yes, obviously be prepared for it. And hey, if in a week none of this happened, if the end of today, if we get to tomorrow and it has not happened, because it can happen, we know, in a 24 cycle from the starting of Hawaii, and then we're all the way to sunlight here in the United States. At least I'm on the East Coast and we have light. So we have all the way until the sunset or the midnight back in the Hawaiian Islands around that time. So there's a full 24-hour period that constitutes the 21st of September, which, by the way, is the 3rd day of the 7th month, 7 and 3. And if you've been wondering why I say that that language says that there's a return, then that's because the covenant with Adam after he left the garden was that he would bring people back into eternity after a week of days. And we know that days in the Bible clearly says that a day is like 1,000 years. 1,000 years is like a day, and it's been 7,000 years. And then the Lord and his covenant of seven days, 7,000 years. So That's happening at the same time as all, and 7 times 3 is 21. That's why I think all the 21s are happening. Anyway, long story short, if you think I sound a little nuts, please go on my feeds. Please go on Book of Catherine, at Book of Catherine, Katherine, on Twitter, or at Prophet's Journal on Twitter as well. Both of those have an enormous amount of data. I've posted them on both. I've used our data for Prophet's Journal, a lot of data. There's an entire thread of the middle charts. There's too many charts for me to post all at once, but all of them have the same features of a 12 and a 21 and a 7. Those are constantly repeated, and all of those converge on today. And so anyway, I just wanted to let you know and catch you up on some of the, world ending sort of things. I don't think that this solar flare will necessarily end the world, though it has a possibility. We know from science that it has a possibility of wiping out the world in 4 hours, no matter how deep we go. There's that possibility, right? I'm not sure. The Carrington event certainly didn't do that. It knocked out all electronics. But my concern is that you stay alive, and that most of all, that you do what I said on March 20th, which was learn to talk to the Father. And I want to address that because I posted that video again recently. And I also said, if you have a hard time talking to him, you can write letters to him. That's something that I've learned to do, is to write letters to him. I've certainly been writing to him lately, and I want to write to him today, before midnight today, or before sunset tomorrow, which is the end of the 7th of the 3rd day. His days go from sun to sun, which makes sense. It makes sense that his new year is in the spring when life happens. And then the cock crow, which is a natural animal that he made, crows when the morning comes up. That's obviously saying that's when the day starts. But it's been miraculous and supernatural to watch the way his language of holy numbers has been used in both the Gregorian calendar, which is a German calendar, which is the one we use today, and his holy calendar that's in the Bible of the 12 months. And he doesn't have names for his months. He just says the first month, the second month, the third month, the fourth month, and then the days are the first day, the second day, the third day. And the reason he does that, I can understand that now, is because, oh my gosh, he speaks through numbers all around us. I see his numbers in the stars. Even when they measured the lava temperature at La Palma when it exploded, I already knew there were going to be holy numbers in it. And lo and behold, 1,967. I was like, there it is, like 1967. I was like, the only one missing is 3, and the lava doesn't go to 10,000. Like, it doesn't go to 5 digits, it goes to 4 digits. And I'm like, we almost shoved in every holy number from 1 to 10. So that is incredible. And I already expect it now. I expect it. I'm not even surprised Mount Etna was the one that exploded, because it's the one that's 3,330 meters high. And it's the largest volcano in Europe, and it's connected to King Arthur. And there's a whole other thread about that. I've been writing a lot this year. But I just thought I should make a video. So since I haven't made one in a while, I wanted to update you all. And I'll try to release some video. I'm trying to decide what to do with today. And I know it doesn't reach for 3 days, but you really start to decide, like, we were very careful about what we ate last night. My friends and I were very careful. Everyone knows it. They're all beyond convinced. It's only the political people that were like, all right, show me more data. Everyone else was like, yep, that's what, yep, everything's been pointing all year. And so, we're all staying in a different place today. We're all rearranging our schedules, and we were careful about what we watched last night. So I wanted to include you in it, since you've been here for me and with me and made all of this possible, all of my research possible, and all of your research is what has unlocked all of this for me. So I love you guys so much, and I will hopefully see you around the bend. Love you. Peace out.